On the week 3. Week 3, we're going to talk. This lecture is only going to be talking about arrays. This lecture is not exactly what we'll be working on. We'll be working on some other things instead of arrays. So, want to at least talk a little bit about arrays. Loops will be another week, but the other part of this will be directly into the. We'll go from the lecture directly into the lab. So. Kind of skip some of this because it's a little bit different. So let's talk about what a data structure is. It is a class that you will have here at Point Park. For most of you, actually probably all of you are same majors, IT, computer science, etc. So what is a data structure? It's an organization, management, and a storage format that enables efficient access and modification. So it's very important. It's how you kind of program. But having this class and then going into that will help. So the one data structure that we're going to work on today is an array. So it's a way to handles a group of elements that holds data. So for example, if you look at this diagram right here, think of it as blocks. Each block holds a value, and then each value is represented by an integer number from starting with 0. So when working with an array, it always starts at 0 and works its way through. So 0 can hold a value, and 0 is considered the index of the array. Now, if you go to print this out and say you print up to line 4, then it will not work because it'll say it's out of range because it doesn't exist. So in this example here, these are our elements. And so each value that you store is an element, and then the value can be stored within the element. Okay? So for example, you could, if you set up an array, you start off with a variable name. So you call a variable name, you declare it, and you put equals, and you put it in 2 storage brackets, or two boxes like this. And within those boxes, you're storing these elements. So you have 0, 1, 2. So imagine you're having boxes in here. So element within each value equals an index, as we mentioned. Starts with 0. In this case right here, if we did the length of it, it equals 6. You might look at it and say, oh, there's only 5, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how that works. So in this example here, we have variable companies equals Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Uber. Now, you notice how I have them separated by quotation marks. It'll basically be single ticks. This would be value 0, element 1, element 2, and element 3. So if I go to write this, I could write it this way, or I could do like a console.log and put the name of the variable. And then in brackets, I would put, like, for example, value number 3. So if I print that, it should print Uber out. Okay? If I put value number 4, it should say it's out of order or something like that. This right here, we're not going to talk about pot methods yet. These will be something that we'll talk about at a later time. So that right there is pretty much the nutshell of how that works. So let's actually start writing some code. So I'm going to go to inspect, and I'm going to go to console. Like I said, you could kind of do this on the fly. So let's do what we just talked about. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. I'll do a variable. I'll say companies. Actually, let's do teams. Since it's AFC NFC Championship weekend, we'll say teams, and we'll say equals in brackets. Oops. There we go. We'll say the teams that we're playing today were the Bucks, the Packers, the Bills, and the Chiefs. Just like that. So those are 4 teams that we have. So we declared our thing. Now, if we wanted to write it, we could do the console.log, and we could do teams like this. Oops. And you see right there, it writes them all out. But if we wanted to, if you click on this right here, you'll see, as we mentioned, each element 0, 1, 2, and 3. If we wanted to print out a specific element, we could do like we did in the example. We could say, we'll say 2. You see how I'm using the brackets there? And I'll hit that, and it prints it out as bills because it's 0, 1, 2. Now if I did 3, it should print the Chiefs out. See? Now let's do 4. Doesn't exist. undefined. Typically it will say out of length or something of that nature. You could also do document.write. Now it might not work here because we don't have it. Yeah, because it's not going to work here, we have to put in HTML for us to, well, no, we should be able to do it this way. Let's try it. Teams, and then we'll put 2. Yeah, it's not going to work. It has to be in HTML to work here. So if we're writing it on the screen using HTML, we have to do document.write. But in here, we have to do console. No, we lost the thing of it. So this right here is, this will actually help out. Like in this week's exercise, let's see here, Point Park. Oh boy, GitHub. Like this week's exercise repository. Let me find it. 162 Module 3. You have to do the exercise, which is here. Make all the countries in the following array, following format. So this will be easy. You can just obviously it tells you first letter should be uppercase. That's right. So you'll just change some of these around and make some lowercase. This one's pretty easy right here. But this one right here is number 2. Is get every second and third. Make it a little bit bigger. Get every second and third letter from each country and concatenate them, print them as a console. So let's talk about that word. So let's go back here. I'm going to maybe try to clear this console. Okay. So let's just set up some variables here. So we'll say variable. Let's say string 1 equals hello. Let's see, with string number 2 will equal why not world, hello world. Very popular. So this is just an example here. And then we could say, let's have another variable. We'll say all strings equals, and what we could do is we could take string 1 like that, dot, and then we're going to use this function called concat like that, and then we're going to put what we want to concatenate in here. So in this case, we want to have 1 and 2, so we could put string 1, and we could do comma string 2 like that, and there we go. And then we could do console.log. We could have did it in here as well. And we could put all strings. And there you go. We have hello, hello, world. Now the problem with that is we already took string 1 here, dot concatenate. So we really only need number 2 there. So what we could do is come back here. And now we have hello world, but now we need a space in there, I think, because I don't like that 15. So we can maybe, with a couple things, we could do this like that. So that way, oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, okay, so it doesn't like that. All strings. String 1. Hello, world. Okay. We could define the space somewhere else, but for now that's kind of almost similar to this one. This one right here is saying get every second and third letter from each country and concatenate them. So every second. So okay. So you're going to use the variable to grab that information. You see what I mean? So you have to have the variable. I definitely would recommend using this in the Visual Studio tool, but you're going to have in this case here, you're going to have, let's grab this right here. Let me clear this console. So instead of using that one right there, let's say, we'll just put there, let's change it the way it should be. All right, so there's our things. Now if we console.log, oops, countries, we get them in we have them in our array, just how we want them. And it says get every second and third letter from each country. Every second and third letter. So this would be the second and third. So if you're going to concatenate, how would you do it? So you would do your console.log. Well, you have to set your variable first. So we'll just say variable. Oh, you can't do that. Var, and we'll say, what's the first one? I'll help you out on one of these. Second and third letter. We'll say second letter equals, and then you want to get countries. Let's see, second and third. So you're going to have to concatenate. Sorry. So without giving it away, you're going to do something like this. We'll have like, I don't know, team. We have this countries, country. I'll say country 1 equals, and then you'll want to concatenate what you want to. So countries is, we'll just say merge. I'll call it merge equals, and you have countries because you want to grab countries out in there, and you want to concatenate it, but you want to have another string here. So you want to define some, we'll say defined variable here. And well, this ain't going to work, obviously, but you want to have another variable that you could find those values. Or maybe you want to capture something like you want to have your countries, but you want to have, think about this, you want to be able to capture, because you're grabbing this first and second, so you want to capture a certain value. So we know that 0 is Australia, so we're going to get Australia. And then think about this, you want to be able to capture, if it's a first or second, you want to capture, figure out what the length is, and grab, you're kind of like a slice and a dicing type of thing. You're grabbing value number 2, so 0, comma 2, which is the position, comma, what's the length, which is position 2, length is 3, etc. Something like that. And I'll let you kind of figure out without me kind of giving it away. But that's the whole idea, is to try to figure out what's happening. Let's move on from that. And let's talk about replace. So that will be, where is replace? So replace right here. So you replace a value. So let's clear this. Oops, let me hit enter. Let that blow up. All right, clear console, perfect. And so let's see, replace, we want to replace a value of some sort. In this case, you're replacing set sentence, time flies like a dart, food flies like a banana, etc. So you want to, I'm not going to use that exact one, but you want to replace something. So let's do this and say, let's say var string, we'll say sentence equals, let me think here. Well, let's say the Bucks beat the Packers. Okay, perfect. So we declared our thing. Now we want to find a way to replace the value of some sort. So we could do a string replace. So we'll say var replace and then equals, maybe I shouldn't put replace, we'll say replace string equals sentence. That's the name of our variable. And then we'll do replace. And then we'll say what to replace, and we'll say bucks. And let's see here, comma. And let's say instead of bucks, let's say it was the Saints. Even though the Saints didn't get there. Well, actually, it would have been the Washington football team. Well, we'll just say Saints. Like that. And now we should be able to do console.log replace string. And there you go, the Saints beat the Packers. So you see what I did here is I took out our sentence here, said the Bucks beat the Packers, created another string called replace string, and equals sentence.replace, which takes that one and says let's replace the word Bucks with this word right here. And then when you print it, there you go. So that's kind of how this one's done here. It mentions find the index of the last occurrence that flies in a sentence. So we can also if you find, what's it say again? Sorry. Find the index of the okay. So the index of the last occurrence of flies in the sentence. So you're looking to find the last occurrence. You're looking to find, it's like the index. What's the value? So you want to find out what the value is. What's the what position it's in. So that's what you want to find out. And then prompt the user for a string to reverse it. So we talked about prompting in the first, I think it was last week. So you'll use the prompting method in week 2 that you learn how to prompt, and then you'll reverse it. So we'll walk through reversing a string real quick, and then you could just take all that and apply it. So this could be a little touchy. So in a reverse string, let's say we have a constant string equals the Steelers lost to the Browns, like that. And then we could do a new string, and I'll call it new string equals string, and we'll do dot split. So we want to split it, which the value that we're going to get is not what we want. So if we do console.log, and then in log we just put new string, and then we do dot reverse, like that. You see what we get. We get what we have it in reverse, but it doesn't look good because it's so separated and splitting everything out, and that's not what we want. So we want to kind of change that around a little bit. So we have the new string dot split. Let's see if I could do it in here or not. So instead of writing the code again, so I could do console.log. I could do new string dot reverse, like that, dot join, and then I can put 2 ticks in here, so it takes all that other mumbo jumbo stuff out. And then there you go. No, that's not right. See, there's also the Browns. That's not backwards. Let me start it over. Clear this because I think it's confused. So let's say constant str equals the Steelers lost to the Browns. Perfect. Constant new string equals, I don't want it has that dot split, like that. And then we could do, let's see if it works. I might have to use a different value because I have to remember and everything from previously. We could do our reverse now, like that. All right, so it did work that way. So I had to do it over because it was remembering everything. So in this case, if I use it this way, it puts everything backwards. And so what you would do is you would prompt your user to enter a string in. You would grab the value from the string, and then, which would be like You know, like you do your prompt, whatever your value you get here, you could do that there, and then boom, boom, and you're done. Pretty piece of cake, I think. All right. So then moving on to numbers. So it talks about rounding. It has var value 13.3. Round the value using normal values. Do value up and value down. And this one right here is simulating a coin flip by generating a random number. Assume that the number is fair and print result, blah, blah, blah. So first and foremost, let's clear this. So if we had a variable, and let's say rating equals 23.7. Okay, that's our rating. If we wanted to do normal rounding, so what that means by that is I could use a function called math.round, and then I could just put rating in here, and it'll, oh, it didn't work. Let's see. Let me see something here. Let's try it this way. I might have to declare a variable. Oh, I do. Var a equals math.round. I thought I could do it that way. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Console.log. Bear with me for a second. All right. Okay. Why is it playing that game? That should have worked. Let me see something. Oh, you know what? Oh, because I use the function. The function has to be in uppercase, and I think that's what it is. So let's say var b equals math. It has to be like that. I did under lowercase, and it didn't know what I was doing. I bet that's what it is. All right, and let's see console.log b. All right, that's what it was. All right, so let's start over, guys. Let's start over. All right. Bar, I'm gonna say regular rounding equals math.round, and we'll just give it a hard-coded number, 23.7 like we had. Undefined, and then we could do console.log, and we could do regular rounding like that. Okay, so that's the first thing. It rounds it to the nearest tenth using just a regular one, which is using math.round. Do what I did not the first time. Make sure the function equals exactly the same. We use an uppercase versus a lowercase. Looks like the Buffalo Bills are going to lose. They're down by 16 with 14 minutes, but anything's possible. All right, so that's the first one. The second one, that's a normal rounding. The second one is a round up, which we kind of just did. But how would you do that? You could do, we'll call it round up equals math dot, whoops, I spelled wrong. Well, actually, we won't do math. We'll do math dot sill for silling. And in this case right here, we'll use a different value. We'll say 2.4. And then you could do console.log and then do round up. There we go. And it rounds it up to the nearest tenth, which is 3. Basically what the other one did as well. But in this case right here, we're using silling. So you have your regular math.round, which does a normal rounding, and then you have silling, and then you have floor. So floor is, let's do var round down equals math dot sill. We'll put 2.4, because really when you round up, when you round it, if you did 2.4, like for example, let's do this real quick. I'll show you. Regular rounding equals math dot round, and we have what, 2.4? If we did that, oops, okay, and we do console.log, I should take it down to 2. See how it takes it down to 2? So when you do silling, it goes up. If you do regular math, it takes it whatever, which is 2. And then if we did floor, we could do, let's see here, round down equals math dot floor. And then we could do, let's say 1.4. And then console.log. Ceiling. Oops. Down. Boom, 1. So it takes it down. Perfect. Those are different ones, and so when you look at the homework, you're just going to do the same thing just like that on all those. Next one is coin flip, so you're using random numbers. So let's, whoops. Let's create a new tab. What's going on there? All right. Over here, we're going to talk about randoms. So we could do, let's see here, pretty much the same. So we'll say generate random number equals math dot random. And then we could do console.log, and we can put generate, there you go, just like that, and boom, there's a number. You could do it again, equal the same one. Usually it should do a different one, but we have to, in order to do that, we have to keep running math.random. So we could probably do console.log, if I can spell. We could probably just do math.random like that. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it that way. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you do it that way, that's how you're gonna get different ones every time. That's how you get it different every single time. So that is, you could apply that to your generation here. Dates, this one, once you prompt the user, you're going to figure out an age. So this is easy. You're going to just grab 2 variables, age, date, do the math, and boom, you have the difference. So that's pretty much this week. That's everything that you need to know this week. Pretty piece of cake. If you have any questions, you know, get in touch with me. Thanks for watching. Have a good week, guys. Bye.